Welcome to Friday Fish Facts. I'm your host, Ron DeSantis. Are you searching for red plants but you don't want to use CO2? Well, I know that I was when I first got it, really started getting into plants. I was looking around, I was buying plants that were red, not really knowing anything about it, not using fertilizers, not using root tabs, not using the greatest light, and they would either die or they maybe would survive, but they definitely wouldn't be green. Today I'm going to show you two types of plants that you can keep red with light, fertilizer, but you do not need CO2. Let's get into it.
So the most important thing for all plants, not just red plants, is light. So you're going to want between 8 and 12 hours a day. The redder the plant, the more you're going to want it towards the 12-hour range. Now I just use the Nacru and the Aquaneat on the big tanks downstairs. I do have a fluval one on one of the small tanks upstairs, but these lights just do just fine for me.
Now I use a timer for my lights. I find it's way easier because I'm at work when this thing goes on, and I run mine for 11 hours a day.
The next most important thing is fertilizers. Seachem Flourish, which is one that's easy for me to get because I live in Canada. This one works pretty well. It works a lot better than not using fertilizer. Now I prefer using the Aquarium Co-op Easy Green for a few reasons. Number one, the plants grow a lot better with the Easy Green. Number two, I need to use a lot less. Number three, as you can see from this bottle, the pump system is a lot easier to do. So this one is a lot cheaper, grows better, and a lot cleaner. And then I've also got this Thrive over here that I've got a couple of these little sample bottles. I haven't tried it yet, but I will try it at some point in the future, so I can't comment on how well that one works. To go along with the fertilizers, I use root tabs. I either use Seachem Flourish tabs, which are, again, easy for me to get, or if I'm down near Aquarium Co-op, I can get the Easy Root tabs. Now, as far as performance goes between these two root tabs, I have not noticed a difference with the plants. The only difference I notice is price, which again, Aquarium Co-op brand is cheaper.
Alternanthera reineckii, pink, or AR. This is a beautiful plant with deep reds, purple, green, and the top of the leaves you'll see they kind of look like an orange or kind of a copper on the top like that. Now this plant will do better with CO2 in it. You'll get some bright pinks with the CO2 in it, but it does very well just with your fertilizers. We've got root tabs there, and of course a lot of light. It's a South American plant, and it likes a pH near 7 and does best in temperatures between 24 and 28 degrees Celsius, which is 75 or 82 degrees Fahrenheit. Now this is actually a good plant for plants for profit because it's easy to propagate. You'll see down the side of the stem there, the roots are popping out like that. Now I get side shoots like that, which you can actually just break off with your fingers, or you can use scissors if you like as well. This is definitely one of the plants I would recommend if you're not using CO2 and you want a little red in your tank. Nymphia zenkeri, the red tiger lotus.
It's a bulb plant found in parts of Africa. It does best in temperatures of 22 to 30 degrees Celsius or 71 to 86 degrees Fahrenheit. It is a spreading plant if you keep it trim. I've left the stuff on the right side longer and the stuff on the left short, and it will spread out. It takes up a lot of nutrients in your tank. A lot of aquariusts like to keep it short to keep it spreading across the bottom of the tank. Also because if you let it get too tall, it's going to bury all the light at the top. Interesting part about this lotus, which is actually a lily, it does flower. The natural occurring flower is a white flower.
Ludwigia. When I first got this Ludwigia, it was half red and half green. This is an example of a plant that, while it can flourish without CO2, it will lose its red color if it doesn't have enough CO2 in the tank. But perfectly healthy, just not going to get that red color that you're looking for. It's got a little bit of trace on there of red, mostly up at the top, but that's about it.
I'm a big fan of red plants, and I've just given you a couple of examples of red plants you can do without CO2. But I'm very curious to what red plants you use with CO2 or without CO2. So if you could put them in the comments below, I would love to read them. Join me next week for another edition of Friday Fish Facts.